we are back another Saturday. We're here. Our Black Media, the Watchdogs. I almost forgot what show we were on. I was ready for America After Dark, but that's tonight. But America After Dark is the number 2 show. You all know that this is the number 1. But I ain't gonna start with Bernard just yet. We're here this week again, y'all. We talked about black male success last week. We're gonna continue that conversation. We got a new brother here with us, and so what we'll do brief introductions. Again, 30 seconds or less. We'll start with you, Bernard. Who are you and what you got going on?
Hey, I'm beyond. I'm a little tired, but hey, I'm Bernard. America After Dark. I'm just one of those crazy guys. Just love America, love people. I'm doing a basketball tournament here at Swanee Sports Academy. It's the girls, all nationals. So this is gonna be my last girls tournament, and then I head to Miami and do my boys, and then I'm going to Las Vegas, and I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna leave it like
Lord. Deron, jump in, Deron. What's going on?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deron Davis. I am a recent transplant to the Savannah area. Jumping on to join my fraternity brother, Bobby Bryant here. Trying to get back to the community. Having a good morning so far. I hope you all are too.
Hey, Pastor Jones, Pastor Betty Jones, one of our faithful followers. We love Pastor Jones. We love Dr. Pat Harris in the 5th District. Xavier, tell us who you are. What you got going on? Chris,
Hi,
I'm
Xavier, the artist. I'm from
Go ahead, brother.
Say it again.
You good? No, you good. I'm messing with Chris.
Say it again. Okay. I'm from Charlotte. Okay. I'm an artist from Charlotte. I'm a freelance artist, so I do tattoos, paintings, drawings, murals, and fashion, music, all those things. Went to Savannah State for a year. That's how I met running group.
Yeah, you might have to get closer to your internet. I think your internet freezing up on you, but we're gonna keep it moving. Chris, tell us about yourself and who you are.
Right. Hey, how everybody doing? My name is Chris, aka 2 Benji. I am an Atlanta native, 23 years old, recent graduate from Savannah State University, and also the member of Soul Tribe. And I also do work with Our Black Media TV. Pleasure to be here today.
All right, Xavier, if you can hear us, you might want to get to a different location or try to get your internet going. You froze up, but help him out, Chris, if you can. I don't know if he can hear us. But what we talked about last week, we kind of left off talking about what black male success looked like, some of the challenges we went through. This week, I want to kind of jump into a conversation around what are we doing in our communities to change the narrative, to push back on this narrative that our population of young black males are doing things, they're running into trouble. Some of that is true, some of it isn't true. But what I sometimes have a problem with in our communities is that people talk so much talk and don't want to do anything. So, Deron and Chris, I want you all to talk about some of the things that you all are doing, and hopefully we'll get Bernard and there you go. Get folks back. Let's talk about what's going on in these communities. Deron, I want you to specifically begin with today. We have a project that we're working on called Project Alpha. And for those who don't know, Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is the best fraternity for folks in young black males, the first collegiate black fraternity. I'm so sure some people will disagree with that, but we don't. But we have a project that's a national program that we do, and we're doing that here in Savannah with the Beta Phi Lambda chapter called Project Alpha. And so, Deron, if you could talk a little bit about that and how that is helping us change the narrative in a different way.
For those of you that were with us last week, we started off the conversation talking about difficulties that young black men and black men in general have in navigating the current American society and how there's a lot of negative stereotypes out. We begin to touch on ways that we can turn the community around, turn individual lives around, and hopefully set folks out on a better trajectory, young black men set them out on a better trajectory. And so Project Alpha is a project geared at doing just that. The subject matter is actually, it's sex. It's the talk. It's understanding everything about sexual health and awareness and how to protect yourself, how to develop healthy relationships, period, where sex is involved. And our target population is ages 8 to 12. Some folks may hear 8 years old and think, man, wow, that's a little bit too young. But one of my pastors back in Washington, D.C., made a statement in front of the congregation, and I was like, wow, it's like if your kid is 8 years old and they don't know about sex, and you haven't talked to them about sex yet, you probably need to start, because they're already hearing about it from somebody else. You know, would you rather it be coming from them, or would you rather it be coming from somebody that you trust, preferably even yourself? So Alpha Alpha is standing in the gap, and we're going to talk on all things sexual relationships to these young men, hopefully give them a well-rounded perspective to help them figure out what their own vision for their life is, how to handle their sexual relationships, keep themselves in the lifestyle choices that they would imagine would lead them to success.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. What I want to do is talk about these programs. We'll all give our reactions. This week we might turn the heat up a little bit, but part of that too, and I've had this conversation is, you know, we like to talk about this whole topic from one lens, which is a heterosexual lens, but we're going to talk about it from different lens, and I think that's very important because one of the things I see sometimes in our communities, especially Black church, is how young Black children, just Black folk in general, have this resistance to sexual orientation. We got to stop that. We've got to stop that, especially in the Black church, because what we're doing is we're doing the exact same thing of what happened when people discriminated against Black folk in the past. So I want us to think about that too, as we have these conversations. We can't shun our own people in our own community because they are in a space that's different than ours. It's the same thing with trans people and transphobia. I'm sensitive to it because I did this type of work, and I've seen how parents in our communities push back on people because they're different, and that's just not right. And so we're going to talk about success. Success means supportive, understanding, and being in the gaps when people may not live a lifestyle I personally live. And so I'm making that very clear with folks, is that you can't stand on one side of the street, but when it's different, you want to then be resistant. So let's just keep that in mind. What are y'all reactions to some of the things Deron said, Bernard and Chris?
Okay, so
my thing is this, and you know, people always judging people on what sexual, whether you straight, gay, you know, bisexual, whatever it is. We all human beings. You know, I have in my family, I have, you know, gay people, I have bisexual people, I had period. And I love them just as much as I love anybody else in my family. And people, man, they're so quick to judge other people. That's what's wrong with this country today. They want to judge us because we Black. They want to judge us because we our sexual thing is totally different than anybody else at the end of the day. You know, and what it is too, I mean, I'm kind of frustrated because I see it every time and I see it every day. I'm frustrated because we as Black people can't stand up and fight for what's right when it comes to us. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna fight to the day I die. To the day I die, I'm gonna stand up for my people. If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right at the end of the day. But you shouldn't judge nobody because of their sexual pressure. You shouldn't judge that at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? They didn't judge Andrew Jackson. They didn't judge Lincoln. You know, if you do your history and you read the Bibles, it's all kind of stuff in there. You know what I'm saying? But they don't judge them because they're white. I mean, once it's like, you know, that's another subject for another day. So I'm just going to go bypass on that. But at the end of the day, you know, hey, trust me when I say this, do your history. And I guarantee you have a different outlook when it comes to the other side of people. And they were around here trying to judge us. Man, look in the mirror at yourself. Okay. Yeah. And I always tell people, and I'm going to say it again. The Indian found the country, the black folks built the country, and the white folks stole the country. So you do your add that up and see what it comes to.
All right, Chris, let me ask you
to jump back in. You asked the brothers to respond and give comments about what I said, but I felt like I didn't really give them enough to go on. So I'll be a little bit more explicit about the program. So when I say all things related to sex and sexual health, we want to make sure that kids understand what sex is, and understand that sexual or heterosexual relationship to birth of children, exactly how conception, that entire process works, what pregnancy looks like, what life looks like after having a child, the changes in your responsibility as a young man, going from being a boy yourself to now being a father and having to manage the responsibility for ensuring somebody else sees their way through life successfully. We want to talk about issues, all the way out to the extreme. Like, what does it mean to get involved in the court system, to be involved in child support collections, to be involved in divorces, and how that affects the relationship between fathers and their children. We want to talk about, again, all things on the sexual spectrum. And so, rather than simply keeping it to heterosexual relationships, we also want to touch on same-sex relationships, or sexuality on the spectrum, all that pansexuality, because what we're finding is that when we don't have these conversations with our kids, they wind up exposed to sexually transmitted infections, which is another topic that we're going to touch on. But you wind up exposed to sexually transmitted infections that you didn't know were coming, that you thought you wouldn't be exposed to based on the type of sex you're engaging in. And so we want to talk about everything across the spectrum and make sure we dot every I and cross every T. Also, everybody has been hearing about all of the transgender laws that have been taking effect across the country, and how that affects the mental health of our kids, who now aren't having an opportunity to talk to it about guidance, talk through that with guidance school counselors, can't talk through it with teachers or other, trusted, respected adults. And if mom and dad aren't talking about it at home, they don't really have an outlet to figure out how to do things in a healthy way and maintain their mental health in the process. So we want to talk about all things related, just make sure that we're holistic. That's the goal.
Yeah. So Chris, I'm gonna get you to jump in there. What's your reaction? I mean, there's a lot to kind of digest, but what's your reaction? You're coming from it from a different perspective, who is much younger. And honestly, someone who just, walked away, well, not walked away, who just graduated from college. And so you've been in this space recently. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm first and foremost, I'm grateful to hear that there are programs out there that's pushing to do that, because that's something that a lot of us truly lack, and it's really just the information. A lot of times we're leaving it up to social media. When I say we, I mean just all of us as individuals. Sometimes we leave it up to social media to inform us about things before one of our loved ones or our close ones tells us, and we digest information more from people who we tend to trust rather than just any other platform. But really how the time's been going, has been more so people taking more trust on social media, and the way that narrative is painted, we already know it's already poison. So a lot of times it leaves people to striving for false representations, making it seem like, okay, maybe this might not happen to me, and it's more so like commonalizing all of the trauma. So now you got everybody else who may agree with a certain thought that you have that really may not be, healthy. But just because you see a lot of other people speaking on that topic, you're more so comfortable indulging in that. So I feel like just for us to continue to tell each other the real deal stuff when we're around them, making sure we keep doing that, and also empowering our people. I feel like a lot of that stuff stems from insecurities. So we have confusion of understanding who we truly are. And the only way that we feel some type of comfortability is if we try and relate ourselves to a certain group, identify ourselves with a certain group that may have more confidence than us. So I feel like we just have to make sure that we continue to empower our people, empower each other, and like really empowering each other for a genuine reason and not just to get something off the back end. Like right now, I say like as far as just speaking for my generation, just growing up, you realize like every single company, every single business out here is targeting you through every single emotional barrier. Like they use all type of marketing, guerrilla marketing tactics that we think is okay, but it's like, yo, you treating us like we are a test subject. You know, like this stuff really messes with our mental. I understand money is a thing that we all want to achieve, but it's like to what extent and to what measures are we going to keep pushing that agenda when you know that we're affecting a large group of people? And I'm really speaking for that because a lot of my emotions will be tampered with just through these different things I've seen on the social media. And then when I go outside, probably to an event or something like that, it's really just a lot of confusion that goes on and just insecurities and uncomfortability. So just making sure that we continue and empower our people and things that we are doing, such as yourselves and so forth like that. I feel like it's a great thing. I'm glad you even spoke on the sexual topic because that's something
Yeah.
that definitely needs to be spoken on within our community. Like we really need to speak on that and allow people to understand the importance of it. You know, right now I feel like it's just so filibuster and moves so out throughout the media. We don't truly recognize the impact of it, the things that can come from it and steer from it. I feel like we just need to have a better understanding. Like, okay, this
Well,
is something that's just not to play with.
well, and I'm gonna hop in. I'm gonna go to Julius. I got a question for Julius and Bernard. But the reason why I think in the last couple of weeks, what has irritated my nerves is how the Black church approaches that subject, and it pisses me off. I just it does because at the end of the day, you got people who are transgender, young Black males who are transgender, who are killing themselves because they don't have a support system. I'm not transgender. I don't identify that way, but it bothers me when we as a community will down someone will ridicule someone to the point where they feel like they have to take their lives. Who are we to make that judgment? Who are we to say that's right or wrong when just not too long ago our ancestors were ridiculed for being Black? That's stupid. And so we've got to do a better job as a community, hold each other accountable. And I just the last 2 weeks I've just heard people talk about what's in the Bible, what's in the Bible. Ain't nowhere in the Bible where they talk about homosexuality. I said it here first. If you don't like it, you can contact me. 912-468-3333. But we got to stop that. I get irritated when we want to down another person for a choice they make, not even a choice, down another person for their life. Ain't got nothing to do with you. If it got something to do with God, let them deal with God. But you ain't God. Step out of the way. So that's why I brought up Chris. It was on my soul. I was like, how are we gonna sit here and ridicule somebody or have anything to say when just maybe a couple of years ago our ancestors were ridiculed for the color of their skin. So what, they supposed to bleach their skin? Like, come on, folks. We look real bad when we do stuff like that. But I didn't mean to cut you off, Chris, but I just had to jump in and show why that came up because it's important. It's important.
No, it's very important. It's very important. It is a very judgmental time right now, and that's something that we got to steer away from because, like you said, we're not in these people's lives. We don't know what's going on. We got to understand how powerful the word is. So, no, I completely agree with that.
Yeah. So, Julius, Chris said a very and Bernard, you're fired, by the way. I want you to know HR is firing you. Bernard been cutting up all morning. Can't get right. Can't get right. I'm a judge of Bernard. You cannot get right. He saw some mamas at that tournament. And he just was all on food. But
he's a single man.
Hey, I ain't gonna do with that. But how do you empower people? How do you empower young Black males? Chris said a very important part. And I think part of the issue in our community with a lot of our young Black males is that they don't feel empowered. So how are you empowering? But not empowering them by finding some toes and beer. But how do you empower them?
Well, you can see the potential in a lot of these young men. And if you don't see the potential, then you can create some potential. You have to see whether you can cultivate that yourself. With the kids that I monitor, that I mentor, I'm monitoring them also. The kids that I mentor, I see that some of them have more potential and want to do something in life and be something in life than the other ones. So you have to be able to try to reach all of these kids every day. You got to show them that somebody else cares. If I had somebody in my life when I was young to do what I'm doing with these kids. I did have coaches. I can't give that. I can't throw them in the trash. Those our coaches were our mentors back then. They were in our lives every day: football, basketball, baseball, and tennis. Yeah, I played tennis. Um, so they were in our lives every day. But uh, after the day is over, who's there to mentor us? And it takes us as men to step in. And we have an obligation. I said this last night on Ink to Ink, our show at 6 o'clock on Fridays. I said it last night. We have an obligation to step in and do the right thing. We we're getting older. These kids are out of control these days because of them being I don't know whether them being latchkey kids or what, but they're out of control and they're almost a lost generation. And we got to start at these 3 and 4 year olds and start grooming them to understand that there's something else in life that other than picking up your phone and doing this all day, other than staying in the house all day. These kids stay in the house all day. They watch TV and they're on their phones all day. So we got to be that example, that role model for them. And other than that, we're going to have another lost generation. These kids today, they don't care nothing about life. They shooting and killing each other with no regard. So, how we reach them is by us all willing to reach out, because they'll take your life just as fast as anybody else's. So you have to be real particular in the ones that you do try to mentor, because some of them don't want you involved in their lives. And those are the ones that are lost. But the ones that we can save, we got to do everything that we can do to save them. That's just our obligation. That's our responsibility. Some people might not think it is, but it really is, because somebody gave us the opportunity that we have today. We wouldn't be in the spots of the situations that we're in now and living the lives that we're living if it wasn't. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to 2 doctors and a college basketball coach and a young graduate if it wasn't for Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and Thurgood Marshall and all the rest that came before us. So we have to be those people now. We might not get the accolades for it, but we have to step in and be those people. When I met Chris, I saw so much potential in this young man that I said, I have to have him somewhere in what I'm doing. I had to have him. I saw the desire for him to want to be involved. I saw the desire for him to want to change things. So this is why he is there right now, because of the potential that he showed that he had. And what you did, everybody's calling me. This guy, Chris, is phenomenal. He's a great young man.
New outfits every week.
So, but that's how we reach him, though.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm gonna go to you next. But one of the things y'all will always hear me say, my little brother. I'm like you, Julius. When I see a young brother out there doing stuff, whether they're doing bad or good, my thing is, and I've been in higher ed for years. I got a kid now. I was at Georgia Perimeter College. Kid now, and I saw him going not the wrong way. I just didn't like where he was going. He wasn't taking education seriously. Got a kid now. I checked on him like this. Said, "What's going on, son?" So we got to start doing that, and we got to start going back to the days where, I'm not, if I feel like you're not doing the right thing, I'm gonna check you. I got one now, another one from GPC, smart kid. He's doing IT, and he get on social media, start cussing. I said, "Let me tell you something. Now I cuss, but every word out your mouth ain't gonna be no cuss word. I'm gonna come jack you up. I drive to Birmingham, I beat you down." That's just the way we gotta be. I mean, it's rough talk, but it is what it is. But now, how are you empowering folk? How are you lifting up this next generation of young black males? Oh, let me unmute.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
They said you was giving them natural light and some toes, but I told Julius that wasn't right.
Oh, okay. Nah, hey, I piggyback on what Julius said. I've been dealing with the kids for over 25 years and still doing it. We have some good kids, we got some bad kids. At the end of the day, still all our kids. instead of all our kids. I try to do my best to try to make sure that if I got 20 kids, right, and out of all those 20 kids, maybe 2 went the other way, that means 18, I save 18, okay? At the end of the day, we as black people need to stop. We as black people need to stop want to look good, want to drive good, want to smell good. You know what I'm saying? We want to showboat. That's all we want to showboat. You want to drive a Mercedes-Benz and it ain't your Mercedes-Benz. You know what I'm saying? You want to live in this big old house and it ain't your house. You know, I'm gonna keep it real. I may be stepping on some black folks' feet, but it is what it is.
Break your toe. Go ahead.
If you take all that what you want to be and put all that energy into our kids and start putting all that energy, want to look good, get your hair and all that, we'll be a better society, okay? And stop fighting one another. That's why I coached for 25 years. I coached life for 25 years. I ain't coached basketball for 25 years because basketball is basketball, you know what I'm saying? But you got to coach life. And what get me is I love when, and I'm an emotional person, and I just be crying all over. I love when I see my girls that I done coached. When I see my boys that I'm coaching. Hey, Coach Brown, how you doing? Thank you, I love you. You still cussing? Yes, I'm still cussing. You know what I'm saying? That's when I cuss with passion. You know, it's not no nasty. I cuss with passion.
That's a t-shirt.
You know,
but you know, Bernard, not to cut you off, but Bernard, sometimes you got, with our young black males, sometimes, and I've done this in my career, I close that door and you're going to get 20 cuss words, but you better tighten it up. That's what they get. Because you can't be nice, they ain't caring. You can't treat them like Ken. You tell you get what I'm saying.
You're right. And that's the same when I'm saying this. We as black people need to stop trying to look good, look rich, and look and take care of our young kids. Because all our young kids want is us older people to just help them and stop judging them and love them. That's all they ask. That's all they want. And you can't put all of them in the same box. You know what I'm saying? And if growing up, it take a village to raise one kid. At the end of the day, man, and Chris, when I met Chris and other gentlemen, great young men, they have the vision to carry on to the next. Because at the end of the day, y'all, we be here today and going tomorrow, and we be worried about who's going to take care of our daughters, who's going to take care of our son, what's the next generation going to take care of us like we trying to take care of them. Ain't too many handful now. I'm just being honest. So if we can save them now, and we'll be happy later. But once again, I'm gonna end this on this here. Black folks, stop trying to look good, drive good, smell good, and focus on what's right. Let's get this country back to where it needs to be for as the black community, because they think they think that we are lost cause, and it's just the God help truth.
Ron, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts about what Bernard just shared?
I mean, it really resonated with me. So, I work primary care for the Army, and in that job, I get to take care of
something wrong with Matt.
One of the greatest populations in the world is our soldiers. But I'm seeing folks come in, and my patients are anywhere from 17 to about 45, 46 years old. And the ones I see most frequently are the much younger ones. And it's evident, even when they're coming in for a random clinic visit, that they need somebody just to talk to. And so it's awesome to be able to not only take care of what they've got going on medically, but to have those jack you up conversations that need to be had sometimes, or praise conversations that need to be had sometimes. If I've seen you around the unit and I know that you've done and you've done a number of amazing things, and if nobody's sung your praises enough, I'm going to sing your praises while I got you there in my face. And the kids that are coming in for STI visits, sexually transmitted infection visits, and I feel like I've seen them one too many times, I'm going to jack them up while I got them right there in the office, and let them know what they need to know to get their lives on track and not wind up in dangerous or other untoward situations. You know, don't let it get any worse than it's already gotten. But you know, like I said last week, you know, I have a 7-year-old daughter, and her thing is, I'm here, I'm looking for your attention, I'm looking for your instruction on how to get from point A to point B. And, you know, from seeing her face and seeing that expression or sentiment in her eyes and hearing it in her voice and then seeing it in my soldiers too, you know, I'm hearing everything Bernard is saying. Like, all of these kids want is to have somebody there that they know is going to care, that they know is going to respond. And if you miss the opportunity, you know, how much did you just miss out on? You know, it wasn't just an opportunity for a conversation. It could have been the opportunity to put somebody's life on a different trajectory. So yeah, I feel what he's saying.
Yeah. And Chris, one of the comments made last night, I was watching Ink the Ink, which is incorporated to incorporation. They talked about the music, right? And you're an artist, Xavier's an artist, and Selena's an artist. Is it the music? Is it the lyrics? Or is it both? What's your response to that?
So it's everything, everything that encompasses that. So music is a frequency, it's a vibration, and that's something that we all communicate with. It's been going on for the longest of times. But what it is, it's the media controlling a particular narrative that we have to spread this lower vibrational energy in order to be deemed successful in that field. So now, once people see so many of those similar images on TV or on social media with all this attention, all these likes, or if you look outside your neighborhood or whatever, and you see somebody probably with a fancy car or whatsoever, and the only type of energy that they're pushing is that lower vibrational energy. If you don't have that security within yourself or discernment or intuition within yourself, then what you'll do is fall victim to believing that's the energy that you have to push in order to be successful. So that's why you got all these individuals who start pushing that particular type of music. And then after they pushing that music, the 808 drums, the beats, the bass, then the lyrics, all those different things play a part in messing up your alignment of your chakras and your frequency, because it's throwing you all the way off. They're not aware of that because they're only paying attention to the outcome of it, the narrative or so-called outcome. So it's all things that play a part. The lyrics, all them things play a part, but it's like a chain reaction. But it all starts from what they're seeing. And the only thing that's being broadcasted, or I ain't gonna say the only thing, but the only thing that they tend to flood and guerrilla market are the lower vibrational energies. So that's why I try to tell all the artists that I do so come around, because a lot of times I come around people now, even some of them that come to my events, and I can tell what type of time they on. But I can tell it's misguided information, it's misinformation. So I don't try to pull it all on them at once, like, hey, whoop, because everybody got their own type. But I do at least try and set up the environment to where you will want to think in a more high vibrational spirit, so you can, you know, go for that type energy rather than just the lower types. Because right now, the only thing, like I said, the media is only broadcasting that negative stuff. So it all plays a part. So we gotta, it's like whatever we make cool, you know? And I feel like anything, any image, any story, we are the ones that take it to the next level. But we just have to place more of our focus on who's really doing the helping the community. Like, we got to place more of our focus on Dr. Duran's. We got to place more of our focus on Dr. Bryant's, because you are Mr. Halls, because you are the ones who's really taking the actual action steps to push it forward. A lot of this other stuff is just filibuster. So it's what they deem is what they deem will make them feel credible inside this field. But they got to get that value within themselves, so they're not looking for validation from that other side, because they'll just keep them manipulated and keep them pushing a false agenda.
Yeah,
I love what you just said, Chris. I absolutely love what you said. Like, you know, that there's a reason that sex sells. Everybody is looking for that sense of belonging. Everybody's looking for that relationship that makes them feel safe. And we're all programmed to do that from the youngest age all the way up to the present. You know, everybody's looking for security and everybody's looking for love. And, you know, if we get the wires crossed and replace sex for love, then hey, this becomes a recipe for disaster. And especially when you wind up in situations that you don't think you can actually find the love because you didn't really have it demonstrated to you, you didn't have it demonstrated in front of you, and then sex is going to be the next best thing. And not only is it the next best thing, but it's fun. You know what I mean? So how is anybody going to be able to truly reset their mind once they've been programmed towards this self-gratification, this thing that's fun, that gives me a moment of feeling secure? How am I supposed to replace that for something that gives me a little bit more long-term fulfillment when I've never had that demonstrated before?
Yeah. What you said was really, really key, is sense of belonging. I've talked about sense of belonging for multiple weeks now. As a matter of fact, in what we do in higher education, we talk about sense of belonging. Matter of fact, Duran, we had a frat brother, Charles Strayhorn. If y'all ever have a chance, look at Charles Strayhorn. His books on sense of belonging, because it's real. If I don't feel a belonging in my environment, in my family, in my community, I'm going to find that belonging, because everybody wants to belong to something, right? So if I'm a young black male, right, and I don't belong to anything, in this gang, this street gang shows me a space, shows me that attention, I have a sense of belonging with that gang, it's no brainer. But we tend to make things overly complicated. It's not in our communities. But I want to go back to what you all were talking about. The Viacoms of the world, the E93, the 94.1s, the V103s, all these radio stations. Why are they pumping this? Some of them I know they're unconscious. They're unconscious. They don't get it. But Chris, why are they pumping this when somebody got to get it somewhere? So I'm gonna let y'all respond, because y'all ready. Go ahead.
Yeah, nah, because I'm gonna be honest, man, because that's something that really bothers me, because it'd be like, dang, are we not seeing this? And I feel like and I don't even feel like, I know for a fact, because I also was on a radio station for a while as well. I did intern with E93, but as far as the radio station, I was a part of the college radio station, Savannah State University. Now, my first thing of getting on there, I'm thinking like, okay, this is a way that I'm an artist, I can be able to play my music, get that stuff spread. But I quickly realized it's way bigger than just me. This is not only something that I can do for me, but I can also push my friends and so forth like that as well, and spread the actual narrative that we truly need. And I started doing my research, looking at how it was back in the day and stuff now. And I'm like, all right, the only difference now is, like I said, they jumped into the entertainment industries, the industries where we really communicate through. And they said, all right, if they continue to keep communicating through here and waking up through here and elevating, we are no longer going to be supported. People are going to get to know their history and get to truly build on that knowledge that they truly possess within themselves. So let's go ahead and just spread the negative stuff. Now, they done indoctrinated so much into the systems where these companies feel like, all right, if we continue to push this positive narrative, it ain't gonna make no money. This is what sells, so we only gonna do what sells. And they stopped it. They stopped the story right there. This is what sells, so automatically, therefore, we should do that. And I feel like that's a problem. That's being driven by money. That's being driven by money, but that's not pushing the culture forward. That's not making an actual impact. So I feel like a lot of times people are scared of some people are scared of change, but also some people are scared from the dollar. They're scared from the dollar, even though you will get blessed with way more plus more if you actually take the actual steps that's going to be helping. But we're so focused on the instant gratification aspect of things, we can't see past that. And I feel like that's a problem that a lot of companies out here face. The radios play a major part. And a lot of times a lot of them don't even be caring about the effect, because they only worried about self. They're only worried about self. And those are the people who push these agendas that will lead us to dead ends. You can tell if they worry about self or if you're actually for the people, for real. That's a problem that we need to really make more of a statement on, because you got so many, I can tell you now, there's so many different events. You got people who be getting up on these stages, who be putting out this content that makes them feel extremely uncomfortable, but they only doing it because they feel like this is what's going to be accepted. This is going to get me on the station. The station not going to really get you paid for real, or it's not going to get you in an environment you truly want to be in. So what are you doing it for? Attention and feeling like this is the way. So that's something we really got to talk on, because it's very bothersome to us who's aware of these different things that's out here to really bring us and keep us down. It's bothersome.
Yeah. And I think honestly, and Chris, you and Durant, I want you to jump on this. I really think honestly, there's only a few R&B, rap artists, whatever, hip hop. By the way, hip hop and rap are two different things. I want people to get that too. But Lil Baby, Lil Durk, Beyonce, Jay-Z, those probably are the only ones I feel like are talking about something meaningful beyond just sex, drugs, and the foolishness. Lil Baby is one of my favorites, honestly, because at the end of the day, he has a Tupac vibe to his lyrics. Whereas if you don't have a good brain, you ain't gonna get it no way. But he's talking about some real stuff out there. I mean, some stuff I'm like, all right, man, you could have did that different. But what do y'all when y'all and B? The one thing about Beyonce, I like the more agency she builds, the more direct she is around social justice pieces. And I mean, I'm loving how she's very much in your face right now with this stuff. And again, you got to have an intellectual ability to understand what she's talking about. But what are you all seeing as far as some of these artists and who's being progressive about, you know what, I don't care about the Viacoms and the big companies. I got to say what I got to say. And, you know, it's amazing that I think Tupac got as far as he did. You know, I'm not going to go on guard to say the government or whoever killed him, but somebody ain't like it. But what do you all got to say about, you know, what the artists out here doing so far?
So I feel like since Chris already gave comments directed there, you were looking at me for that one. I'm with you. I do appreciate artists that make a point of getting back to issuing a real message, because to Chris's point, media is pushing out things that sell, and the entire, I guess, drive behind media is maintaining their profit margin, maintaining their profit margin. Anything that's going to keep you addicted, anything that's going to keep you selling is what I want to push to you. But you're right when you start talking about folks like Beyonce or artists like Beyonce who have made a point of shifting what it is they do. It makes a better impact. It makes a much better impact. And the killer for me is that artists that are just starting don't really have the agency, the fan base to move, to put out what they want to put out. You know what I mean? They don't have a voice. And so I got to say that I got to take a step back in terms of like really pointing out specific artists with it, because I kind of decreased my listening to mainstream music a long time ago. And, I started listening to a little bit more instrumental, or, if there's a specific artist that I find that I really wanted to hear a song, I'll jump in and jump out, because it really does filter into your brain. It affects the way that you think. And if you're getting negative messages all day long, eventually you're going to be defeated. So I found that it was happening with me, and I had to take a time out. Yeah,
I got a kid, Chris. Matter of fact, one of my former students, I call him my sons, he goes by the stage name OMG Versatile. He's a major spoken word artist, building a big following in Atlanta. Check him out, Chris. It's on OMG Versatile.
I definitely will.
Yeah, but
OMG Versatile, I definitely will.
Yeah, it's OMG Versatile. I'll send it to you. But spoken word is even a different approach, and I went to, I got a lot going on this week, and Duran, a lot of that. But I just got tired. I was like, I'm going to a spoken word thing I saw online, and just really listen to people's lyrics are important. I'm a PR person by trade, but lyrics and I'm very intentional about language sometimes, and what comes out of your mouth and what goes to people's ears triggers something. And you got to be mindful of that. Like we're not perfect. So I'm not saying everything we say gonna be right, because we all got things we shouldn't say. But the things that go in people's ears sometimes will trigger or guide or direct. It's why we see these mass shootings. It's what your senses pull in through your eyes and your ears are directing what you got going on in your life. And I mean, Chris, what do you feel about that? I think we got to be very mindful of that, especially with our young black males, because they're hearing, you know what, it got to be real.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. So we definitely Mr. Ryan said something very powerful. Dr. Duran, my apologies, said something very powerful, and I believe that's touching on the subconscious. Like, we really do have to be very wary of what we are listening to, because it's like a mental food bank. I'm dropping a self-worth ebook July the 27th, and one of the contents on there, one of the chapters on there is mental food bank, and it's basically just letting people know, treat what you consume audio wise and visually wise as if it was food, as if you're eating it, because you have to be aware everything that you're feeding your mind is going into your subconscious, whether if it's good or bad, and eventually that will begin to project your reality based off of what you continue to place your focus on. So if you are always listening to, we all aware that there's good and bad. So I'm not saying everybody got to be kumbaya, but if you're only literally listening to negative type of music, those beats that just it messes up your ears and so forth, like it's going to project. It's going to project because in a while, once you're laying down at night, or once all the doors close and you with just you, only those thoughts is going to be playing in your mind. And I can speak on this because that is a part that played with me. That is something that I experienced, and I didn't know what was going on. I'm just like, yo, why am I feeling like this when I don't even feel like it's me? And I didn't realize it's like, yo, what are you consuming on a daily basis? You know, what are you placing your focus on? What shows are you watching? Are you watching anything educational? What type of songs are you playing? And these are the different things I had to really place more of an effort, a conscious effort in switching up, because that was affecting my mood. That was affecting how I viewed life, my perspective on life. And it's a lot of things. So I definitely feel like that. I feel like it is a lot of more artists now that's pushing that narrative. Like right now, I feel like truth is being more broadcasted, is being more celebrated. So everybody is now coming more so like, okay, this is what's really been going on. You know, so I feel like it's being more of a made a standpoint now, but at the same time, what did it take for you all to have to get to this point? Because now they're now I feel like they're trying to overflood the truth and make it seem like, okay, now we can just be able to trust a lot of these people. And it's not to be trusted. It's still over selling stuff. So placing my focus on more of them artists who've been pushing that narrative, you can see it within the words they're saying and the actions. So a lot of these people got programs on the outside. A lot of these people, you know, Beyonce plays a major part. Killer Mike. I love Killer Mike. Killer Mike, great person. I like the stuff that he's doing on the outside. Lil Baby is a pretty cool artist as well. You know, a lot of times he's very active out here in the city. You know, a lot of stuff they don't put on social media, but he be out here, you know, touching a lot of them people. You know what I mean? A lot of people experience that. A lot of people was really out there in that. And you got to have somebody who know how to navigate through that field. Because if you don't have no relative experience, how can I trust you? You don't really know what I've been through.
Right,
So,
right.
I completely agree with that. But yeah, y'all, we got to watch what we taking in, y'all. It plays a major part. It plays a major part.
And so what I'm going to do is last week, Jerome read a poem called If. I'm going to read another one called Invictus, which is one I really rely on. It's a major poem. It's by William Ernest Henley. After I do that, I'm going to give a few shout outs and we'll take closing comments from you all. So Invictus is a powerful poem. It's one that, again, is used by the Divine Nine organizations, National Panhellenic Council organizations, which are Black fraternities and sororities. And it gives people opportunity to think beyond what's going on. And again, words are important. And the words of this poem are extremely important to me. And so for our young Black males, whenever you are in a place of just being lost, confused, and it happens a lot, go back to If and go back to Invictus. And so I'll start. Out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconscionable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but I'm bowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. End quote. As we are taught to say. That's a powerful, powerful, powerful point.
Powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, so before we do our final shout outs, I've been talking about Alpha, but I would be remiss not to give a shout out to our good brother Jay Jones, who's an ATR Black media person and the chairman of the Chatham County Democratic Party, who is celebrating with his frat brothers, the gentlemen of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Congratulations on you all's conclave in Charlotte. And I want to give a shout out to another ATR Black media person, Tiffany Taylor, who is the new commissioner in Athens-Clarke County. She has taken it, and y'all, she has developed a nonprofit, Mothers of Black Sons in Athens, Georgia. a black woman, created a mentoring group of young black men in Athens, Georgia. And today they're doing a uniform drive to make sure that every young black child has a uniform in Athens Clarke County schools. You talking about powerful? What I want people to understand is you may not know how to do something, but do something. Start something. Because last week and this week, what we talked about is how people have created ideas or partner or done something. Let's change the narrative for our young black youth, in particular our young black males. So Tiffany, if y'all want to give to Tiffany, her cash app is $Tiffany with 2 F's, TIFFANY TLOTAYLOR 017. Send her a donation to make sure that these young black males are continuing to thrive and do well. It's called MOBS, Mothers of Black Sons. I'll go to the website. Well, I helped to develop it. We might have to put it back up, but it's on Facebook. But check out MOBS, give her a donation. I want to give both of them shout outs. So final thoughts, Deron, final thoughts, Chris.
I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and the major points that we hit on today were, for me, were making sure we monitor what it is we feed ourselves, and it's always great to be reminded of that, because every now and again you get a little lax, and then you have to pull it back together to make sure you're feeding yourself good food. But also the last thought I wanted to make sure I wanted to throw it out. Last thought I wanted to make sure I threw out was about Project Alpha. So again, Project Alpha is going to be taking place at Georgia Southern University, the Armstrong campus, on October the 1st. Again, the age range is 8 to 12, preferably, but 8 all the way through high school if they're interested. Again, parents who may feel uncomfortable about having that talk or want to make sure that the kids get a more inclusive perspective of all things that they might not have even considered touching on. Look out for ads. Registration will be opening up early in August.
Perfect, definitely. I definitely
Chris, what's your final thoughts?
I definitely want to say I'm very appreciative of this conversation. Like, it was very much needed. I'm grateful to be a part, and also I'm thankful that I can hear the other perspectives of other black men, because, like I said, these are the different things that I individually be needing to hear and be a part of, because it keeps me going, keeps me pushing that agenda forward, and I can bring that back down. So I just want to say I'm thankful for y'all for allowing me to be a part and having that conversation. I definitely want to say, just for everybody who's listening, if you want to be an artist or if you're striving to be an artist or forth like that, nobody's saying that you have to be a specific way, but I just want everybody to take that same amount of care and mindfulness of what energy you're putting out there. Just make sure the energy that you're putting out is pure. Just make sure the energy you're putting out is pure. Making sure that it's striving for something better. Don't be leading people to dead ends, y'all. And that's my only thing. As far as if anybody is in Atlanta, Georgia, I have been doing a giveaway this whole week. It's at Adamsville, Georgia. It's located in Adamsville. I'm on Fairman Road. I'm in that Atlanta area. Inside of the park, I'm doing a printer giveaway, so I'm giving back a whole bunch of printers. So far, I done gave out a few, but I still do got a lot left that's in the van. But I know everybody getting back to school, back to this semester, so forth like that. So it is a free printer giveaway. If you want to stay up to date on that, just go to my social media by 2Benji. That's number 2, BENJII. And then you'll see my page on there, 2Benji ENT. And just stay updated on that page. But first and foremost, I wish the best for everybody. I'm thankful, and I hope everybody have an amazing day thoroughly.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll definitely have y'all back at some point. But I think the last 2 weeks have been great conversations. We really uncovered a lot, and
Yes.
We'll definitely continue the conversation. If not, next week, another time. But you all definitely tune into ATR shows tonight. We have America After Dark. What we have tomorrow, Chris? I forgot the show tomorrow, but it's a great show with 2 gentlemen.
And so tomorrow, Sunday, I believe we got In Your Business. I believe In Your Business comes out on Sundays, if I'm correct. But Sundays, you got In Your Business. Also, Sundays, you got the Pastor Show. So make sure everybody is up early. Make sure that you're getting that godful energy, that lightful energy. Make sure you stay tuned. OBM has a lot coming. And even no matter what demographic or age range you're in, we got some things that's open. So make sure that you stay in tune. You don't want to You don't want this to slip right under your nose, because I'm telling you, OBM is going to be boom. It's right there in your face. It's been here the whole time. So make sure that you stay in tune for real, y'all.
Yeah, and honestly, I think next week is going to be a great lineup too. We got Candidly Keisha with Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter, which is Monday. We have Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely on Tuesday evening. Pastor, one of my favorite people, Pastor Leonard Smalls, has several pieces that he puts out. Shout out to him. And when is Soul Tribe coming back? What's up?
Soul Tribe is right around the corner, y'all. Soul Tribe is right around the corner. Every individual has just been healing themselves, getting right. You know, we want to recharge. Once the school semester had just ended, everybody was basically just reviewing everything, just revitalizing everything, so forth like that. So August is right around the corner. Semester is back in. Soul Tribe will be right back on the airways, and bigger and better. Bigger and better. New conversations, new things that we've learned in real time. Evidence will be able to show, and all type of things. So Soul Tribe is never far away.
All right, well, folks. Well, we appreciate you all for tuning in. Duran, I'll hit you up a little bit. All right, y'all have a great weekend and a great week, and remember to stay out this heat, and in November to go vote. All right, y'all take care.
Like this.